inside. Yes. A focal point of sanctification. Very important in the scriptural mindset and the Hebrew mindset, of course. It's very important. And these things have to be in order, okay, in the scriptural mindset, right? And the Hebrew, by the way, sometimes is very interesting because of some things that we see. You see, these two words, these two consonants, aleph and bet, they actually spell the word for Av, which is the word for father. Yes, aleph and bet is father. Okay? So the father is actually the strength of the house. Yes, the father is the strength of the house, right? And so has all the males of the scriptures should be brought up that way, okay? Knowing that, hey, you have to be wise, you have to be learned, you have to have the spirit of Elohim in you, you have to be strong, your everything, including your diet, has to be good, because eventually you'll be needed to be the strength of the house. And Yeshua also, of course, is our dwelling place, as we know from the scriptures. Then the next one is Gimel. Let's say Gimel. Gimel is actually a camel. Okay, a camel which shows, which represents nourishment. Nourishment, even in harsh conditions. Okay, nourishment. Yeshua nourishes us in every place that we are in. Okay, and his mentality, by the way, is not really a city mentality. No. It's even in hard places, like Sion, for example, was not a city. Okay, not very much of a city. They made it to be. Okay, but it was a dry place. Right. Gimel, nourishment, even in hard and difficult conditions. Also, a camel carries the burdens. Yeshua also carried our burdens. Okay, cast your burdens into help. He will. Yes, you know that. Okay, that's Gimel, camel. Okay, and many other things, by the way, you're going to discover later as you study that. Then the next one is called Dalet. Okay, Dalet. Dalet is a door. Door, language. Yes, entry point. Remember the tent? It has to have an entry point. Very important. Even Yeshua said that he is the door of the sheepfold. Okay? Yes, and no one comes. If another person comes through another way, that person is a what? Yes. So for the door, it has. It can be a weak point also. So some of the words for weakness can also be can have a dalet in them. It can be a weak point, so it needs to be protected. Yes, though also sometimes it shows strength. Okay, because of the hinges. The hinge can actually hold a very big gate so that it can move. Something that is handy. So it has both of that, but it should be very well protected, because that's where the enemy can actually come in, a door. Right? Then hay. Hay is window. Okay? Hay is a window. See how much important the house is in the scriptures. Okay? Hay is a window. It represents, a window allows in light, and also it allows the air to come in, breath. So hay actually represents the spirit. Hay represents the spirit. And look at it. It is number what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's number 5, right? And we say 5 is the number of grace, right? Which we find by what? By the spirit of Elohim. Hey appears 2 times in the name of Yahweh.
Yes.
Okay? Yes, it appears actually twice. That is the name of Yahweh, by the way, found about close to 7,000 times in the scriptures. Okay, so hey, very important, the spirit of Elohim. All right, and that is the renewed spirit by which we live by. Amen. And our strength also. We'll talk more about that later. Wow is a hook. Oh, sorry. Wow is a tent hook.
It's a tent peg.
Tent peg. Let's call it a tent peg. Okay? A connection. something to connect. Amen. It's a tent peg, a connection. And we are also supposed to be connected to Elohim at all times. Alright? You're supposed to be connected to Yeshua at all times. Remember, he said that he is the vine and we are the branches. Whenever you are cut from that branch, then you do not have what? Life. So when we are connected to him, that's when we have life. You know, we connect an extension to the electricity. Okay? When you remove it, no life. Okay? Wow. It's a connection. Zion is a sword. Okay? A sword, a shining sword, a tool. Right? And remember, the word of Elohim is what? Sharper than a two-edged sword. Okay? Two-edged Zion. Okay? So the word of Elohim is represented also by Zion. And also this particular sword and this particular tool is also used for production in the farm. Okay? Actually the another pictorial will show a tool of become a djembe even. Okay? Of production in the farm. So it also represents production. Okay? The word of Elohim will also bring the abundance as much as it brings wisdom, light, everything. It also brings abundance. Amen. So far we are number 7. Zion is number 7. Then Het. The next one is Het. Let's say Het. Please notice I've put a dot there. In other places you will find it written as Chet. I did not want to do this because it will confuse you with the CH sound. So instead I use the dot there. Okay? And it is Het. Okay? Het. Alright, so Het is a fence. Okay? Fence, footer, a wall. Right? Very important also in our lives because we have to have boundaries. Okay? We have to have boundaries. Sindio, at a kanisa kama hili we have boundaries so that we can have a demarcation between what is wrong and what is yes. And even the word for grace, by the way, starts with a Het. Okay? Because when we have grace, it keeps us away. It creates a hedge around us. Yes, hedge, right? It's actually one of the consonants that gives us very strong words. Grace comes from there. Even the word for life, Hayim, okay, comes from there. And we learn a lot about that, by the way, about heads and fences and walls. Remember, their cities always used to have walls. Remember Jericho? And even nowadays, if you want to have a farm, okay, there are 2 main important things. You have to have a wall first, a fence first, and water. If you have those 2, you can start your farming very easily. Okay? So there is that aspect about hedging and fencing. And also we need also to protect our children, our people, everything. Remember that aspect about protection in the scriptures. Then the next one is Tet. Okay? Tet, I will also give you 2 sides of Tet, right? 2 sides of Tet. Tet can represent a snake, and also it can represent a basket, but the coiling of each one of them. A basket of good things, okay? There's that positive side, basket of good things. Tov, something good is represented by Tet. Or even a snake on the opposite side, okay? Also reminding us that Yeshua took away all our sins. Remember, there was a time in the wilderness when people were being eaten by snakes.
The book of Numbers.
A bronze snake was put there, and later on in the new covenant, it was equated to Yeshua, right? Yes, it says that the serpent was raised, so also the Messiah was. But it represents, in that case, it represents judgment. Okay? Yes, so that is Tet. So whenever we have words, then you can be able to, you get your insight in those 2 ways according to the word. Okay? Yod, number 10 is Yod. Okay? It's the smallest letter. Okay? Yet it is the most used letter in the whole scriptures, by the way. Okay? You remember when Yeshua said that not even a jot or tittle, it wasn't actually a jot, it was a yod or tittle. Tittle is this one. Yes, that one there. None of those will pass away until all of it is accomplished. Yod is a hand of power and authority. Hand of power and authority. Remember, when we are in Elohim's hand, no one, nothing can actually harm us. Hand of power and authority. As small as it looks, it is very powerful. Yes? Yes, the arm. Yod is the arm. Hand of power and authority. Then kaf is the palm of the hand. Okay? And also sometimes a wing. Okay? Wing. Okay? It represents, it actually kind of represents force. You know how a spoon, the word for spoon, by the way, is also kaf. But you know how a spoon is made? They get a flat, strong and then they force. Okay? So kaf. Very interesting consonant there, kaf, force, but also represents care at the same time in that force. And there's some other things that we're going to learn about that, especially because of what we did today about leadership. There's somewhere in Genesis, it talks about we should subdue and take dominion. One of the words there for subdue is actually starts with a kaf, okay? Kavash and radam. Right? Because if we don't do that, then Satan is going to rule and is going to lead. Amen? So kaf, hand of power. Oh, this is the palm of the hand, or even a wing. Okay? Represents force. Then the next one is lamed. Let's say lamed. Lamed is an ox goad. I don't know, ox goad. You see, when they used to use oxen, not getting for farming. They used to use oxen. So to keep them in line, they used to use an instrument called an ox goad. Line, ox goad. It represents learning, okay, and also teaching at the same time. Learning and teaching at the same time, right? But look at it also, like we checked last time. This is number what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And Yeshua had how many disciples? 12. Yes, and he taught them. And eventually they ended up also becoming teachers. The best of the best teachers. Like Peter became one of the best bishops, but he was one of the most powerful bishops. Because they sat under the best professors for 3.5 years. That was enough to get a degree. Yes. So he taught them, okay? They, and even sometimes at night, for 3.5 years. Taught ones, lament, they were 12, okay? So some of the things that Yeshua did, most of everything that Yeshua did, he did not do it outside. He was not just guessing anything, okay? Remember, he was the word, and yes, he kept that part of the word. The next one is mem. We'll go through it again, by the way. Don't worry. And also how to write it. So mem represents water. Okay, water in the scriptures is very important. Remember baptism, and also remember cleansing. The word is cleansing, water of the word. Remember that. It also represents might to some extent. Remember, 70% of the earth is what? Is water, and the Hebrews, by the way, really feared the sea. Okay, because it could swallow anything. Doesn't matter how big the ship is, it could still swallow it. Okay, so water represents might, but also represents what? Cleansing, and also water is life. Okay, so in that also we find an aspect about life in water. Mayim is water. Mayim is water. Yes, in the Hebrew. You say
So we are also Hebrew.
yes.
You're right.
That's what we were talking about last time. It's like, who are we really? We know. And we'll do more research. Who really we are. So mind, cleansing, and also strength and power. And noon is a fish. Okay? Noon is fish. The fish represents perpetuation. Okay? Perpetuation. Alright? And perpetuation has a way of bringing continuity. Right? Because one of the things